Is your garden in an absolutely awful state right now? Well, don't worry, because in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to properly maintain your garden and keep it in a very orderly state. And I clearly need to apply this to my garden, as it's not really in the greatest state right now, but it's a quick fix, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix up my garden as well. Let's first start off this video by talking about the outside of your garden. I'm talking right along the fence if you just so happen to have a fence around your garden. If your garden is so small that it doesn't even have a fence, you should still at least keep the raised beds in orderly shape, because this just doesn't look that good. I mean, it's not a big deal because there is a fence separating the weeds from the garden, but if someone comes over, you're talking about, oh, there's a garden in my backyard, it looks nice, and then they come and see this, they're about to be like, do you know how to garden, like, at all? Because seriously, you want to keep this nice and orderly. It's just more of like an aesthetics thing, in my personal opinion. Keep the outside of your garden more orderly, but I still feel like that you should at least be putting in a little bit of effort to keep it orderly. This is kind of a mess, but it's not going to take that long to do. All you got to do is just hit it with the weed whacker and knock it all down. It's super simple, and as long as you know how to operate a weed whacker, you should be good to go on that aspect. But if you don't, just look up a tutorial. It's not that difficult. The next tip takes us inside of our actual garden, which seems very lackluster right now because we still have to transplant. But by the time this video is going up, I'm recording this on Saturday, the garden will in fact be fully transplanted. In the garden tour that'll come out hopefully next week, they'll showcase that precisely. But either way though, inside the garden, you'll notice something. What is all this weird tarp going on in here with all the holes in them? And the irrigation pipe going right down the middle? Well, it's exactly what you think it is. This is to keep weeds out of the main section of the garden. And it's actually quite simple, and you can pick up a bunch of rolls of these for a fairly affordable price. Either way though, this is called Weed Block, and it's ridiculously helpful for the garden as it keeps the plants from growing in the main side of the garden. Now obviously there are exceptions sometimes where something might be able to squeeze its way through here and start coming up, and I have seen that happen, but it's only in rare circumstances, and usually it's something like grass. Either way though, the holes that we have over here that don't really have anything going into them, like that one usually, or it's just a bunch of dead green beans, there's going to be a bunch of weeds you're going to have to consistently rip out of here. So you're going to have to keep this maintained obviously, but it's a whole lot easier, especially if you have a flat garden like this, to keep it a lot more orderly when that's the situation that you're in. Now this next one is something that I need to go pick up for myself, but I have in fact have it before. It's just my current one that I had broke last year. So this is this cool little device. You stick it in the ground and it makes a noise that's, they scare off tiny little animals such as rabbits, moles, voles, and other stuff that try to get into your garden and rip it apart. Now this is something that I've had obviously in my relative's garden before. I think I even did a review on one of those once in the past. But either way though, it's something ridiculously useful to keep stuff out of your garden, regardless of if you have an in-ground garden or a raised bed garden. It's incredibly useful. And finally, just simply having a schedule to keep everything up to date in your garden is really what's going to help you out. Now that's what I'm doing this summer. In previous summers where we've grown a spring garden up here in Zone 6B in northwestern Connecticut, I've had like no schedule. I've come in here really inconsistently, which is why my garden looked ridiculously sloppy at times, but sometimes it looked really good. So that's precisely why it was the case. But this year, I already created time blocks for when I'm going to go in. I'm going in here twice a week to do some weeding at the coolest part of the morning, so around 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. to come in here for 1 hour sessions and do all that. You don't have to do it for an hour. If you have a really small garden, you probably only have to spend like 5 to 10 minutes if you go in there just even twice a week to do some weeding and keep it up to date and check up on your plants just to make sure. It's going to help you grow a garden that looks ridiculously pleasing to look at and doesn't make you think, man, do I really suck that badly at gardening? No, you don't. You're just not taking care of your garden the right way. Even if this helped you out just a little bit, I recommend clicking that like button and this video here on the center of the screen, which shows you a $490 garden. It's cheap and affordable, although it does cut some corners, but it's an interesting watch, and I'll see you guys there. Goodbye.